What's going on, YouTube? Got another knife review here for you. Today we're going to be looking at the Emerson Combat Karambit. This is a knife that I just got, and as you guys probably know, I had the Super Karambit. This is a 2009 model with stonewash. This is a little bit older. It's a 2006 model, and it's got the black finish on this one. And I think the reason I wanted to get this knife, I really like the Karambit. The style, just the tactical look of it. It's a very primarily defensive blade. It's not definitely not an EDC carry. But at the same time, the Super Karambit was one that was somewhat large for my hands. If I'm gripping it like this without my fingers in the hole here, then it fits perfectly in the hand. But then once you spread out your fingers here, it forces your hand down, which it's not necessarily a bad thing, but in order to get a really firm grip, maybe like controlled grip, kind of have to spread your fingers here, and without putting your finger in the hole, it kind of defeats the purpose of having the Karambit. Even though you still get the hawk style blade, shape blade, and all that kind of stuff, especially when you're talking about reverse grip. Having control of the knife is important. So I kind of wanted to try and see what the Combat Karambit would feel like, and it's a knife that is a lot more comfortable in the hand. Obviously, it has a shorter grip when you compare it here. To fit, I have medium-sized hands or so, and definitely fits the hand much better, especially in reverse grip. It's just a very natural grip. Your finger fits in there perfectly for any kind of flipping. I don't really want to do this on camera unless I hit some of my knives here, but it really becomes an extension to your hand. Any kind of punching motion and claw up, punching and lifting up like this, and if you're hacking away like this, it's definitely it's just, it really is like a little talon that's affixed to your hand when your finger is engaged in the hole of the Karambit on the handle. So really quick, just against these other knives in terms of the size, this is a 2.6 inch blade. Overall length is 6.8 inches, and the weight is 3.6 ounces. So you got the large Sebenza, the Hogue. This is a 4-inch Hogue Tanto EX01 with the aluminum grips, and then you have your Spyderco Military right here. So it's definitely a short knife, as you can see. The Super Karambit definitely kind of measures up a little bit better against these knives, and this, because of its smaller size, I feel like can make for a decent EDC in the sense of everyday carry for defensive uses. Tactical, you can kind of just put this on the side pocket or in your back pocket or whatever, and especially if you live or have to walk on any kind of sketchy streets or whatever, it's a really intimidating blade to have on yourself. As I think about a lot of these knives, the Sebenza definitely is a great EDC. I mean, you can consider it a tactical or whatever, but it's a nice looking knife. It's not one that's going to necessarily be overly intimidating. But I think the Spyderco and the Hogue here are pretty intimidating blades, I would think. And then some of my other Emersons here that I carry, my CQC8, my CQC13, these are definitely some pretty awesome blades, and they're tactical, given that it has the wave feature on these knives. But when you're talking about the Karambit, I mean, it's a knife in a class of its own. There's my Gypsy Jack. I love this knife now. I did a review on it earlier, kind of thinking that is a little bit goofy and all that kind of stuff, but now I really love this knife. I mentioned that it wasn't as tactical, and that was really more due to the tightness of my clip and how grippy the G10 was. But now that I kind of loosen the clip a little bit, it slides in and out of my pants really easily, and this blade just whips out. When you get a 4.3 inch blade or 4.1 inch blade, I think 4.3 inch blade, It's pretty awesome. It's a sight to behold. But going back to the Karambit here, this knife, the hawkbill feature, I used to hate hawkbill features or knives, and I think one of the reasons was pretty much because I thought it was going to be really, really hard to sharpen. And it is kind of hard to sharpen, to be honest. I tried sharpening this one, given that it was used on my wicked edge, and I had some issues with it. The straight, these stones are flat, and when it goes against the grain here, it doesn't completely touch the blade, and so it's sharpening. You can see on my stone right here, it kind of touches along the edge, and so it drags along the edge and it sharpens it, and it definitely sharpened it, so it was able to cut through paper, but definitely wasn't as, it's not as screaming sharp as some of my other knives that I was able to get. One thing I kind of wanted to show, as with some paper, if you're doing slash cuts with a knife and you just kind of pull at it like this, it doesn't really do anything. I mean, I'm using not a substantial amount of force, but against the weight of the paper, I'm snapping at it, and it's not really puncturing. You would be able to slice through it and stuff like that if you held the knife firm. But with the Karambit, with the hawkbill, whether it's the Super or the Combat I feel like has it's slightly more, I don't know, more aggressive, but the bill just kind of goes in and immediately just hooks in. Like I'm barely doing anything, and it just hooks right in to the paper and just slices through, and it just grabs at whatever's in front of it, be it flesh or be it whatever, and it just digs right in. And case in point is, within 5 minutes of getting this knife, and I opened it up and I was really excited, I started building a little big wheeler for my daughter, and as I was putting together, I had to get through some bags, and I whipped this thing out and started opening some bags, and as I had the baggie, I kind of opened it up like this, and my finger just point right here just caught my finger on my ring finger right here and just kind of slashed it open, and immediately it just started bleeding. It wasn't a super deep cut, but the tip, the hawkbill, again, it just grabs. A sweeping edge like this on Svenza, it's kind of forgiving. If it touches your thing, it's not, the pressure is not digging into your finger, so it won't necessarily cut you, even though it's really, really sharp. It's sharper than the Karambit, but once this edge, gets a hold of something, it just digs right in. And I was sharpening up this blade, a couple days later, and I was wiping it down with some towels, and as I was kind of just wiping like this, the tip again, it just grabbed my thumb, and then it just slashed my thumb open. So it's still, I don't know if you can see that right now, probably not, it's healed over time, but it just opened right up, and it was probably 2 millimeters deep into my thumb. And so the Karambit is an awesome, I mean, it's purely a tactical knife. I mean, I did carry it as an EDC for a couple days, and it was, you're able to do whatever you need to in an EDC roll, not like preparing food or anything like that. I don't really use my knives for that kind of stuff, but purely as a tactical blade. I mean, if you can imagine, this sitting in your pocket and the wave feature, and bam, it just opens right up, and you're ready to go. Especially in reverse grip, this is I think my preferred grip holding a Karambit. It's a really intimidating knife. So standard Emerson stuff, you got 154 cm, G10 titanium liners. The Emerson clip is probably one of my favorite pocket clips. I just like the style of it, I like the ruggedness of it. So yeah, I've owned a lot of Emersons now up to this date, and these are the ones that I've held on to so far. I still got a Horseman and a mini CQC 15 that I'm trying to sell off, but these are the 5 so far that I'm holding on to, and I really, really like the CQC 8, CQC 13, and the Gypsy Jack. This one, again, it's a bit eccentric, but man, it's such an awesome blade. So I'm really glad I got this one. Anyway, so that's my quick little impressions of the Karambit. You know, you guys that are collecting Emersons now, like Jay Davis and Shuju 1313, I'm sure if you got a hold of these Karambits, you would really like them. Purely as a tactical blade and all that kind of stuff. As EDC users, maybe it's not the best fit, but as an everyday like tactical carry, it's a really awesome option. So anyway, that's for your consideration. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next vid. All right, see you. Bye.